Have you ever felt an inexplicable connection to a time or place you've never visited? Or perhaps you've experienced relationships that felt profoundly familiar from the very first meeting, as if you'd known certain souls across centuries. These aren't mere psychological curiosities, but potential glimpses into the profound truth Carl Jung discovered, but dared not publish, that your current life circumstances were deliberately chosen by your soul before birth. What Jung revealed in his closely guarded manuscript shatters everything conventional psychology believes about human existence, offering a revolutionary understanding of why you face your specific challenges and possess your unique gifts. While mainstream institutions continue promoting the narrative that life is random and consciousness ends at death, Jung's suppressed writings tell a radically different story. His most controversial discovery, documented through thousands of clinical cases but hidden from public knowledge, reveals that your deepest wounds aren't random misfortunes, but carefully selected catalysts for spiritual evolution. The manuscript, witnessed by only his innermost circle, details how specific souls incarnate into particular circumstances to resolve unfinished karma and develop precise spiritual qualities, a process Jung verified through rigorous documentation of patients who spontaneously accessed past life memories during analytical sessions, revealing patterns too consistent to dismiss as mere fantasy. What makes this hidden knowledge so dangerous to established powers? Simply this: when you discover your challenges were actually chosen by your higher consciousness for specific developmental purposes, the victim narrative collapses entirely. Jung's suppressed research demonstrates how reclaiming this ancient understanding of purposeful incarnation creates immediate psychological healing and spiritual empowerment, transforming your relationship with life's difficulties from meaningless suffering into sacred opportunities for soul advancement. This knowledge has been systematically suppressed because it liberates human consciousness from external authority, reconnecting you with your soul's inherent wisdom and purpose. The revelations contained in Jung's hidden manuscript explain phenomena that conventional psychology cannot: why you feel drawn to specific places and people, why certain patterns persist despite your best efforts, and why you possess inexplicable talents or fears with no apparent origin in your current life experience. As we explore the specific techniques Jung developed for safely accessing soul memory and integrating wisdom from past incarnations, you'll discover practical methods for reconnecting with your pre-birth intentions. This journey into Jung's most closely guarded discoveries won't merely transform your understanding of why you were born into this specific life. It will fundamentally revolutionize how you experience every aspect of your existence from this moment forward. In the twilight of his extraordinary career, Carl Jung is said to have worked on a manuscript so profound and controversial that it never saw the light of day. This document, carefully preserved yet deliberately hidden from public view, contained Jung's most radical insights into the nature of human consciousness and the soul's journey through multiple incarnations. Unlike his published works on archetypes and the collective unconscious, this manuscript delved deeper into the metaphysical realm, exploring why specific souls incarnate into particular lives and circumstances, knowledge considered dangerous by institutional powers of his time. The existence of this manuscript remains contested among scholars, yet numerous accounts from Jung's inner circle suggest its reality. Those fortunate enough to have glimpsed its contents describe revelations about the soul's deliberate choice of circumstances before birth, a process Jung allegedly discovered through working with patients who accessed past life memories during deep analytical sessions. These sessions revealed patterns too consistent to dismiss, showing how current life challenges were directly connected to soul lessons left unresolved in previous incarnations. The implications were revolutionary, suggesting our deepest wounds aren't random, but chosen for our spiritual evolution. What makes this manuscript particularly compelling is how Jung integrated Eastern spiritual concepts with Western psychological frameworks, creating a comprehensive theory of soul development across multiple lifetimes. He reportedly identified specific archetypal patterns that souls follow throughout their evolutionary journey, patterns that explain why some people face tremendous hardships, while others seem to glide through life with ease. This wasn't mere philosophical speculation. Jung documented hundreds of case studies where patients spontaneously accessed soul memories that explained their current psychological conditions, proving to his satisfaction that our present circumstances are neither accidental nor arbitrary. The manuscript suppression speaks volumes about its potential impact on humanity's self-perception. Jung reportedly confided to his associate Marie-Louise von Franz that releasing these findings would shatter fundamental illusions necessary for society's current structure. The knowledge contained within its pages offered profound liberation, but threatened established religious and scientific paradigms equally. As we explore deeper into this hidden work, we'll discover how Jung's suppressed insights can transform your understanding of your own life circumstances and reveal the hidden purpose behind your greatest challenges and deepest gifts. Within the yellowed pages of Jung's suppressed manuscript lies a revolutionary concept that fundamentally challenges our modern understanding of existence: the theory of purposeful incarnation. Unlike the random biological accident described by materialist science, Jung proposed that our souls deliberately choose specific lifetimes, families, and circumstances as vehicles for growth and integration. Through extensive analysis of patient dreams, spontaneous past life recollections, and synchronistic events, he documented compelling evidence suggesting that our deepest wounds and greatest talents are carefully selected before birth as part of an overarching soul curriculum. The manuscript details Jung's discovery that trauma patterns often reveal themselves as necessary wounds designed to awaken dormant aspects of consciousness. In his private sessions with patients experiencing breakthrough past life memories, Jung observed that their most painful experiences inevitably connected to specific soul lessons that remained incomplete across multiple incarnations. This perspective transforms our relationship with suffering. Rather than meaningless misfortune, our greatest challenges become intentional catalysts selected by our higher consciousness to facilitate specific aspects of spiritual development and self-realization that couldn't be achieved any other way. Perhaps most controversial was Jung's assertion that the collective unconscious functions as a repository of soul memory, accessible not just in dreams, but through advanced meditative states. The manuscript allegedly contains detailed techniques for accessing these past incarnation memories safely. Methods Jung developed, but hesitated to publish widely due to their profound psychological implications. These practices reportedly enable individuals to perceive the thread of purpose running through multiple lifetimes, revealing patterns of soul development that explain seemingly random talents, phobias, and inexplicable attractions or aversions to specific people, places, or circumstances in one's present life. Jung's notes suggest he discovered that souls often incarnate in soul clusters, groups of beings who travel together across multiple lifetimes, playing different roles to facilitate each other's evolution. This explains why certain relationships feel instantly familiar or carry unusual emotional charge. You've literally known these souls across centuries in various roles. The manuscript explores how recognizing these soul connections can heal deeply embedded relationship patterns and fulfill soul contracts established before birth, opening doorways to accelerated spiritual transformation and heightened consciousness that transcends the limitations of a single lifetime perspective. Jung's suppressed writings reveal his most daring hypothesis that what he publicly termed the collective unconscious was in fact a carefully coded reference to something far more profound: the eternal memory of the soul across incarnations. While his published works described archetypes as universal patterns inherited biologically, the manuscript allegedly unveils Jung's private belief that these patterns are actually soul memories carried from lifetime to lifetime. This revelation transforms our understanding of Jung's entire body of work, suggesting that his concept of the unconscious was a scientific framework designed to introduce spiritual truths to a materialist world not yet ready to embrace the reality of soul continuity and purposeful reincarnation. The manuscript contains detailed accounts of patients who, during deep analytical sessions, spontaneously accessed memories that couldn't possibly belong to their current lifetime. Jung documented hundreds of these cases, noting striking similarities in how individuals from vastly different backgrounds described identical features of the between-life state. Most compelling were the consistent reports of a life review process where souls, alongside wise guides, selected specific challenges for their next incarnation based on lessons they needed to master. These accounts emerged decades before near-death experience research corroborated similar patterns, suggesting Jung had discovered a universal process of soul evolution that transcends cultural conditioning and religious doctrine. According to Jung's hidden writings, the archetypes themselves are not merely psychological constructs but actual entities, evolved souls who guide the incarnation process from higher dimensions of consciousness. He allegedly discovered this through working with patients who consistently described encounters with the same archetypal beings during deep states of consciousness, beings who appeared identically to people from diverse cultural backgrounds who had no contact with each other. This suggested to Jung that what we experience as archetypal patterns in dreams and visions are actually interactions with advanced souls who oversee human spiritual development, carefully guiding each individual's journey through the precise circumstances needed for their growth. The manuscript reportedly contains Jung's most advanced techniques for accessing this soul memory consciously, practices that integrate Eastern meditation with Western psychological approaches to pierce the veil between incarnations. Those who studied these methods described profound experiences of cosmic unity and purpose, often transforming their relationship with death and eliminating the fear of mortality entirely. The soul memory activation process Jung outlined allegedly enables individuals to perceive their current life challenges from a higher perspective, revealing how each difficulty was specifically chosen to develop particular spiritual qualities and overcome patterns that have persisted across many lifetimes of attempted resolution. Long before Jung's famous Red Book was finally published in 2009, rumors circulated about its true contents and connection to ancient mystical concepts like the Akashic Records. The suppressed manuscript allegedly reveals that Jung's visionary experiences documented in the Red Book were not merely products of his personal unconscious, but direct experiences of accessing what Eastern traditions call the Akashic field, the patent interdimensional library containing every thought, action, and event across all incarnations. Jung was reportedly cautious about explicitly naming this connection in his published works, instead cloaking these experiences in psychological terminology to avoid scientific ridicule. His private writings, however, detail specific meditative protocols he developed to consciously access this universal memory field, techniques reserved only for his most advanced students. The manuscript describes Jung's discovery that certain individuals possess an innate ability to access the Akashic Records more easily than others, a talent he believed indicated old souls who had developed this capacity across many lifetimes. These natural readers often experienced spontaneous past life memories from early childhood and demonstrated unusual intuitive abilities that couldn't be explained by conventional psychology. Jung reportedly maintained relationships with several such individuals, using their insights to verify his own theories about soul development and purposeful incarnation. Their consistent ability to access accurate information about historical events and past civilizations without prior knowledge convinced Jung of the objective reality of the soul's journey across multiple lifetimes. Perhaps most revolutionary was Jung's alleged documentation of how accessing one's past incarnations could rapidly accelerate psychological healing in the present. The manuscript contains case studies of patients with severe trauma, phobias, and relationship patterns that proved resistant to conventional therapy but resolved quickly when the originating lifetime was consciously accessed and integrated. Jung noted that remembering the original choice to experience these challenges, a decision made by the soul between incarnations, often provided immediate relief and profound spiritual awakening. This process of remembering didn't require belief in reincarnation to be effective. Even skeptical patients experienced transformative results when approaching these memories as symbolic representations of deeper psychological processes. The connection between Jung's Red Book and the suppressed manuscript reportedly lies in the activation of specific brain centers that allow consciousness to transcend conventional space-time limitations. Jung documented particular symbols, sounds, and breathing techniques that facilitate opening what Eastern traditions call the third eye, the pineal gland that serves as a gateway to higher dimensional awareness. When properly activated, this center enables direct perception of the Akashic field, allowing individuals to access not only their personal soul journey, but the collective evolution of humanity across epochs. These techniques were considered so powerful that Jung allegedly insisted they remain unpublished until humanity reached a level of consciousness capable of using them responsibly. While Jung publicly explored the shadow as the repository of repressed aspects of our current personality, his suppressed manuscript allegedly reveals a far more expansive understanding that our most challenging shadow material originates from previous incarnations. According to these hidden writings, Jung discovered that the most resistant psychological complexes often stem from traumatic experiences or moral transgressions from past lives, creating karmic patterns that persist until consciously resolved. This perspective transforms shadow work entirely, suggesting that our darkest psychological material isn't just personally repressed content, but the accumulated unfinished business of the soul across numerous lifetimes, explaining why certain patterns prove so stubbornly resistant to conventional therapy despite our best efforts at integration. The manuscript reportedly contains Jung's revolutionary approach to karmic healing, a process that combines traditional psychoanalysis with meditation techniques designed to access the originating lifetime of specific psychological wounds. Patients who engaged in this process frequently reported spontaneous memories of lives where they experienced the opposite role of their current challenges. Oppressors recalling being victims, the abandoned remembering abandoning others. Jung documented how conscious recognition of these patterns often triggered profound healing experiences, as individuals realized their current challenges weren't random punishment, but opportunities for soul balancing deliberately chosen before birth. This understanding transformed their relationship with suffering from victimhood to purposeful growth, accelerating psychological and spiritual development significantly. Jung allegedly discovered that karmic patterns manifest most powerfully through relationships, particularly those with intense emotional charge that defy rational explanation. The manuscript details how souls intentionally reincarnate with the same individuals across multiple lifetimes, alternating roles to balance and heal shared karmic debts. This explains the immediate recognition we sometimes experience upon meeting certain people, an intuitive knowing that transcends the current incarnation. Jung documented numerous cases of couples, family members, and even adversaries who, when regressed, discovered shared past lives that explained their inexplicable connections and conflicts in the present. Recognizing these soul contracts brought immediate clarity and often catalyzed profound healing in even the most troubled relationships. Perhaps most controversial were Jung's writings on collective karma and how it shapes historical epochs and societal challenges. The manuscript allegedly explores how groups of souls incarnate together to work through shared karmic patterns, explaining why certain cultural and historical traumas repeat until collectively resolved. Jung reportedly identified specific archetypal patterns playing out in modern society that originated in ancient civilizations, particularly Atlantis and Egypt, suggesting that humanity is currently engaged in resolving collective karma from these earlier developmental periods. This perspective offers profound insight into current global challenges, revealing how contemporary crises around technology, power, and spiritual disconnection mirror unresolved lessons from previous civilizations that advanced materially while neglecting spiritual wisdom. In his published works, Jung introduced synchronicity as meaningful coincidences that defy conventional causality, but his suppressed manuscript allegedly reveals a far more profound understanding, that synchronistic events are actually direct communications from our higher soul consciousness designed to guide our current incarnation. According to these hidden writings, Jung discovered that what appears as random coincidence is actually an intricate system of navigation cues orchestrated by aspects of our consciousness that exist beyond space-time limitations. The manuscript details Jung's documentation of thousands of synchronistic events reported by his patients, revealing consistent patterns that suggested an intelligent force was actively communicating through the language of meaningful coincidence, providing guidance at crucial decision points and confirming alignment with soul purpose. The manuscript reportedly contains Jung's most advanced techniques for cultivating synchronistic awareness, practices that heighten receptivity to these soul communications while developing the discernment to interpret their meaning accurately. Through careful observation, Jung identified that synchronicities increased dramatically during major life transitions and periods of psychological transformation, functioning as confirmation signals when one aligns with their pre-birth soul intentions. Most remarkably, Jung documented how individuals who consciously worked with synchronicity as a guidance system reported dramatic increases in fortuitous circumstances and seemingly lucky encounters that advanced their development and life purpose. This wasn't mere confirmation bias, but a measurable shift in how external reality responded to their internal alignment with soul intentions. Perhaps most revolutionary was Jung's discovery that synchronicities often connect directly to specific past incarnations, bringing precisely the resources, relationships, and circumstances needed to heal unresolved patterns from previous lifetimes. The manuscript details numerous cases where patients encountered people, places, or situations that triggered inexplicable emotional responses, later discovered to be connected to significant past life experiences requiring resolution. Jung noted that these karmic synchronicities intensified once an individual consciously committed to their spiritual development, as if the higher soul consciousness orchestrated external reality to provide exactly what was needed for the next stage of evolution. This observation led to his controversial theory that physical reality itself is more responsive to consciousness than materialist science recognizes. Jung's suppressed writings allegedly reveal his most radical conclusion, that by developing heightened synchronistic awareness, individuals can consciously co-create with their higher soul consciousness, actively participating in shaping external circumstances rather than passively experiencing them. The manuscript outlines specific practices for strengthening this co-creative partnership, including meditation techniques that access the higher dimensional aspects of self that orchestrate synchronicities. Those who mastered these practices reportedly demonstrated remarkable abilities to manifest needed resources and opportunities aligned with their soul purpose. Jung cautiously documented these cases while recognizing their profound implications for our understanding of consciousness and reality, implications suggesting that the material world itself is far more responsive to our inner state and intentions than conventional science acknowledges. While Jung publicly explored alchemy as a historical metaphor for psychological transformation, his suppressed manuscript allegedly reveals he understood it as something far more literal, an actual science of soul integration across multiple incarnations. According to these hidden writings, Jung discovered that the cryptic alchemical texts he studied weren't merely symbolic, but contained precise instructions for reuniting fragmented aspects of the soul that had been separated through traumatic experiences across lifetimes. The manuscript details how Jung decoded these ancient practices and integrated them with modern psychological techniques, creating a comprehensive system for soul retrieval and integration. This process reportedly enabled individuals to reclaim lost aspects of their essential nature, restoring talents, abilities, and spiritual connections that had been abandoned in previous incarnations due to persecution, trauma, or societal conditioning. The manuscript explores Jung's discovery that certain alchemical operations correspond precisely to stages of soul integration, processes that follow identical patterns regardless of an individual's religious background or belief system. The prima materia represents fragmented soul aspects appearing in dreams, visions, and synchronicities, calling for reintegration. The nigredo phase manifests as the psychological crisis that occurs when confronting past life traumas, too painful to integrate in previous incarnations. The albedo appears as spontaneous insight and reconnection with divine wisdom, while the rubedo represents the embodied mastery that occurs when soul fragments are successfully reunited. Jung documented how this alchemical sequence unfolds naturally during deep analytical work, suggesting it represents a universal process of soul evolution programmed into human consciousness. Perhaps most revolutionary was Jung's documentation of the physiological changes that accompany soul integration, alterations in brain activity, nervous system regulation, and even cellular function that occur as fragmented soul aspects are reclaimed. The manuscript allegedly contains detailed records of these changes, including shifts in brainwave patterns, heart rate variability, and immune system function that consistently accompanied successful soul retrieval work. Jung reportedly collaborated secretly with forward-thinking physicians to document these changes, accumulating evidence that soul integration creates measurable biological effects, findings that challenged the rigid separation between psychology and medicine, while suggesting that many physical ailments might ultimately stem from soul fragmentation across lifetimes rather than merely physical or current life psychological causes. The hidden writings reveal Jung's most controversial discovery, that complete soul integration ultimately leads to what ancient traditions called the immortal body or resurrection body, a transformed state of consciousness where the artificial boundary between spiritual and physical dimensions dissolves. Jung documented cases of individuals who, having reached advanced stages of soul integration, demonstrated remarkable abilities typically associated with spiritual masters across traditions: profound compassion, accelerated healing capacity, intuitive knowing, and the ability to maintain awareness during sleep and even the death process. These cases convinced Jung that the legendary enlightened states described across spiritual traditions weren't merely symbolic, but actual developmental possibilities representing the fulfillment of human potential, the completed alchemical opus. That results when all soul aspects from across incarnations are finally reunited. The most practical section of Jung's suppressed manuscript allegedly contains specific techniques for safely awakening dormant soul memories, methods carefully developed to access past incarnation experiences without the dissociative risks of conventional hypnotic regression. According to these hidden writings, Jung discovered that the conscious mind typically blocks direct access to past life memories as a protective mechanism, preventing the ego from becoming overwhelmed by the vastness of soul experience across multiple lifetimes. Rather than forcing these memories through suggestive hypnosis, Jung developed gentle protocols using specific dream incubation techniques, active imagination practices, and symbolic amplification methods that allow soul memories to surface gradually, in a contained, integrative manner. These approaches reportedly enable individuals to access the wisdom and healing potential of past incarnations while maintaining psychological stability. The manuscript details Jung's discovery that certain archetypal symbols function as activation keys for specific soul memories, triggering spontaneous recollection when encountered during meditative states. Through extensive clinical observation, he mapped correlations between particular symbols and the types of past life experiences they typically unlock. Sacred geometry forms connecting to ancient temple experiences, certain animal totems linking to indigenous lifetimes, specific number sequences opening memories of advanced civilizations. Jung noted that these symbols often appear naturally in dreams or synchronistic encounters, precisely when the psyche is ready to integrate the corresponding soul experiences, suggesting an intelligent orchestration of the remembering process by higher aspects of consciousness that ensure memories surface only when the individual has sufficient psychological resources to process them constructively. Perhaps most revolutionary was Jung's documentation of the transformative effects of conscious soul memory integration, profound expansions of identity, purpose, and capability that occur when individuals reconnect with abilities and wisdom developed across multiple lifetimes. The manuscript contains detailed case studies of patients who, upon recovering memories of advanced spiritual training from past incarnations, spontaneously demonstrated abilities that transcended their current life education and experience. Ancient healing techniques, esoteric knowledge, spiritual practices, and even languages they had never studied. Jung carefully verified these recovered skills against historical records, confirming details that patients could not possibly have known through conventional means. These cases convinced him that genuine soul abilities remain latent within the psyche across incarnations, accessible when the artificial barriers of forgetting are gently dissolved. The hidden writings reveal Jung's most practical contribution, a systematic program for soul memory reintegration designed to be implemented across an individual's lifetime. Beginning with specific childhood memory exercises, progressing through adolescent dream work practices, and culminating in advanced meditation techniques for adults, this developmental sequence was carefully crafted to gradually expand consciousness beyond the limitations of a single incarnation perspective. Those who followed this program reportedly experienced a natural dissolution of the fear of death, recognition of their place within a grand evolutionary journey, and spontaneous access to talents and wisdom from their most advanced previous incarnations. Jung allegedly observed that when individuals reconnected with the continuity of their soul journey, they naturally aligned with their pre-birth intentions for the current lifetime, fulfilling their purpose with greater ease and spiritual satisfaction. What began as Carl Jung's private inquiry into the mysteries of human consciousness ultimately revealed a profound truth: that each soul deliberately chooses its incarnation circumstances as vehicles for evolution and growth. Through the forbidden knowledge contained in his suppressed manuscript, we've explored how your deepest challenges aren't random misfortunes, but carefully selected opportunities for spiritual development. By recognizing that your most persistent patterns likely originated in previous lifetimes and were chosen for resolution in this incarnation, you gain the perspective needed to transform your relationship with suffering. This isn't merely philosophical speculation, but a documented reality Jung verified through thousands of clinical cases, revealing the extraordinary purpose behind your ordinary existence. The techniques Jung developed for accessing soul memory offer practical pathways to reconnect with your pre-birth intentions, whether through working with synchronicities as soul guidance, practicing the alchemical processes of integration, or using specific meditation methods to safely access past incarnation wisdom. These approaches provide tangible means to reclaim your spiritual inheritance. As you begin implementing these practices in your daily life, you may notice increased synchronistic support, spontaneous healing of long-standing issues, and a natural alignment with your authentic purpose. The liberation that comes from recognizing your challenges as chosen rather than imposed cannot be overstated. It transforms victimhood into empowerment and confusion into clarity about your soul's journey. Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of Jung's suppressed findings is how they validate experiences many have felt intuitively, but dismissed as imagination. The recognition of soul connections with certain individuals, inexplicable affinities for particular cultures or time periods, and persistent dreams of places never visited in this lifetime. By understanding these as echoes of your soul's journey across multiple incarnations, seemingly random elements of your life suddenly reveal their profound coherence and purpose. Jung's hidden manuscript doesn't merely offer theoretical concepts, but practical methods for conscious participation in your soul evolution, enabling you to navigate your current lifetime with the wisdom and perspective of an awakened traveler, rather than a confused prisoner of circumstance. As our exploration of Jung's suppressed manuscript concludes, I invite you to reflect on which aspects of this hidden knowledge resonated most deeply with your own experience. Which of your life challenges might represent chosen curriculum for your soul's development? What talents or intuitive knowing might be wisdom carried forward from previous incarnations? Subscribe to our channel for more revelations from the world's suppressed spiritual knowledge, and comment below sharing which part of this journey into Jung's forbidden discoveries most surprised or enlightened you. The video appearing on your screen now explores ancient Egyptian initiation techniques for accessing higher dimensions of consciousness, knowledge that perfectly complements the Jungian methods we've explored today.